down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! I found out I'm saying that too loud. It goes right over the music. What's going on, all you scallywags? Nutmeggers? Conversationalists? And, of course, you haters all over the fruited plain. It's Reese on the radio right here live on WTIC News Talk 1080. I am showing my love and respect for the Hartford Police Department. Got your back, boys. I know you didn't ask, but I got your back because a crumb comes to Hartford. Yes, a crumb comes to Hartford. And apparently those 9 to 12 protesters that showed, it was less than that. From what I understand, it was 5 protesters who showed up in Hartford the other day. Apparently that wasn't enough, so somebody called Big Daddy Crumb, who's holding a press conference in about 20 minutes. Our very own Dave Mager will be there. We will find out what Benjamin Crumb has to say. We will have the Benjamin Crumb translator here. I don't know if you've ever heard Benjamin Crumb speak, but he speaks like civil rights. That's the way he talks. I don't know what it is. I don't know why he talks like that. I'm just saying he does. He doesn't have a speech impediment, so I don't want anybody thinking I'm making fun of the disabled. But if you've ever heard Benjamin Crumb speak, you know it's one about civil rights, one about black people. You can only make out so much. Well, we will have a translator here. When he gives his speech, we'll have audio for you and the whole 9 yards. They are trying very hard to make this story a national story. Civil rights. We're going to put a stop to that. It's not happening on my watch. I have single-handedly ended racial strife in the nutmeg state. And you will not be coming up here to be rabble-rousing, Mr. Crumb. Like it or not. You will not be causing racial strife. Also, I have a proposal today. And I think that we as a people should take me up on what I am going to propose. I looked it up. There is legal precedent for what I am going to propose. Stand by for that. You don't want to miss it because we can all join. We could all be a part of it. It's going to be amazing. And I can't believe no one thought of it. Well, maybe they have. They just didn't have this platform. But if you had the idea and you were thinking about it, I want you to call up and let me know if you want to be down. At 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. I want to thank the good people, the congregation, the pastor, Pastor Todd, Principal Craig, and everybody associated with Bridge Community Church. Thank you for accepting myself and my wife to that church. It was 8 weeks ago we walked through those doors and found our home with that church. And as many of you know, if you go to my Facebook page, you can see it. Myself and my beautiful wife, Roseanne, were baptized. And thank you for everyone who sent us very warm welcomes to the faith. And we appreciate your love and support. Back at you. You have always been supportive of us. And it wouldn't have happened if you didn't accept me into the family here, WTIC, and listen to this program. We have, again, I don't think we've ever felt more welcome in our own personal lives. As Roseanne and I have come together, I don't think we've ever experienced the kind of love that we have been met with here in the States. So we appreciate you, and we will never, ever forsake the people who have been beautiful to us here. We consider you family. We got some invitations to go to other churches. I don't know if that's cheating or being unfaithful to my church. No, I'm kidding. we are going to be out there. I got a request from a young woman who sent it to me because she couldn't get in touch with Roseanne. And it's funny because I say that there are no such things as coincidences. It turns out the church is on Woodbridge Avenue or something like that, and Woodbridge happens to be the town that Roseanne and I met. So it is, we call that very special. That is divine. So as soon as I sent the message to Roseanne, she says, it has Woodbridge Avenue right there. She goes, we have to go. And I went, absolutely, we will be there. So we're going to go visit those folks on Saturday. I also want to take some opportunity to thank all of you who rang in my ear. Mark in West Hartford, the loudest, who rang in my ear, get down to the Mark Twain house. I'm going to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I thought I was going to be bored. I really do. I just thought, I know Mark Twain. I get it. But I did not know I was going to have this much fun. And Mark in West Hartford was the loudest voice. He did everything to get me there. And we went this Saturday, and I got to tell you, I know you've all experienced it, but I hope that I get to experience it, or at least I get to tell it through my eyes to you, and I'll tell you why I loved every bit of it. And maybe you'll share some of the things that I learned from it. I found out I have a hell of a lot in common with Mark Twain. And there were so many. I'll just have to share it with you later. So about the 5 o'clock hour, I'll lay that out for you as well. So make sure that you join us. If you can't stay for the entire show, go back and listen to it in the 5 o'clock hour. I'll lay that out for you. I also want to make mention of, let me see, I went to Mark Twain House. I want to make mention of the Howard family because of the Mark Twain House. They made that possible and gave us a tour. It was absolutely beautiful. Roseanne loved every bit of it. And when I mean every bit of it, Roseanne was checking out the doorknobs. Okay? Do you ever have, Roland, you ever been around people who do that? People who check out every ornate detail. She was feeling, she had her hands on the paint job on the wall, looking at every detail of every, because some of the stuff, some of the walls are hand painted, and she was going through every detail. The doorknob, she was bending down, looking at the doorknob. Look at the design on this. She is, and it's funny because she was going into cabinets. She was on the floor. I thought she was like an Inspector 12 at the house. I thought she was going to pull out a white glove and like check for dust. It was the most insane thing. I didn't realize she was that much into this. She scared me.
That's what I do.
Are you like that? You like the ornate sort of, all that detail-oriented stuff?
Yeah, and I want to know what year they did it and what were they thinking when they were creating a piece. And
okay, really? I'm touring a house just like okay, nice window. That vase is beautiful. Is it vase or vase? I don't know. Whatever. I just go, look, that's nice. Roseanne wanted to be in everything. She was, listen to me, you want to know how crazy it was? She was going around the border where, where they tell you don't go?
Yep.
Like you're not allowed? No, Roseanne, walk right through. She was like, can I go over there to that window, she would say. They were like, okay. She just walked past it. I'm like, sweetheart, there's a barrier there for a reason. She goes, nobody's here. She would just walk. She had to see everything. She had to. I'm stunned she didn't sit in a chair to, get the aura of Mark Twain. She was like, by the time I was leaving, Roseanne wanted to write a book. That's what, it was crazy. Everything about it just completely inspired her.
She didn't see the ghosts upstairs?
No, I tried to explain to her that's the reason why. She was like, I want a house just like this. I'm like,
no, you don't.
No, you don't. You don't want a house like this. There's no way. And there are 3 floors, and there are all of these rooms. And not only that, just so we know, okay, one of the daughters died in the home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? One of the daughters died in the home. And from with the pictures that we saw, these daughters were heavily involved in every facet of the house. They used to do plays in the house. They would do plays of their father's writing, like The Prince and the Pauper. They were in the house, in the walls. They learned inside the walls. They had a room where they did all of their homework and got their homeschooling. It was like, as I was walking through them, and a lot of that stuff they, purchased and brought back to the house. A lot of stuff was remade. There was a lot of stuff that they purchased from people who had purchased it and brought it back to the home. And it felt eerie the entire time. Nonetheless interesting. Mm-hmm. Thank God it was during the day.
Yeah.
But at night, I would have heard creaking and freaked out.
I went there twice.
Oh, did you?
And the first time, we saw like curtains move upstairs, but nobody was up there. Allegedly, nobody was up there. I don't know if they were trying to freak us out. Or,
yeah. I believe that.
Yeah.
I don't.
Do they still sell the rock candy in the store?
We did not go to the gift shop other than to pick up a shirt and a book, which was purchased for us. And we thank you so much. I'm going to wear the shirt tomorrow, the Mark Twain shirt, and the quote on it is hilarious. But we didn't really get to. I was trying to get Roseanne out of there because we had other places to go. And we'd spent about 2 hours at the whole place. But we are going back on Saturday.
Oh, damn.
So we're going to go through. We'll do the gift shop on Saturday, definitely. Rock candy.
Nice. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Rock candy I used to love as a kid, but I'm off sugar, so I can't have any. Yeah, I know. It sucks.
But technically, if you're in the Mark Twain house, you're technically not a part of... So you can technically have the sugar as long as you stay inside the house.
You would give me a sort of out on all of this.
Loophole.
Yeah, a little loophole. Yeah, well, we're going back on Saturday because they have a mentalist that's there, and I'm going to go. We're going to go check that out on Saturday.
A mentalist in a haunted house.
Yes, exactly.
Good luck.
He's going to be in the extension of the house because it's in the auditorium in the main museum, so to speak. So we're going to go into there. So it won't be in the house, which, by the way, would be cool. Oh, you know what's the other thing that they have? They have. Do you ever see the movie or the board game Clue?
Yeah.
They have a Clue game, an interactive game with actors in the whole bit inside the Mark Twain house. It's like a form of the game Clue where you interact.
So you could be a part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Now that I'm going for because that's one of my favorite movies. I love the movie Clue. Of course, it's funny. But everyone in that is some of my favorite actors and comedians are in that movie. So anyway, we're going to go back for all of that. But I digress. I want to say this about the baptism that happened on Sunday. And I share this with you because I try to be as open with you about the things that are on my heart or the things that are on my mind and things that I would think you would have questions about when it comes to this show. So, of course, after the baptism, I walk out and I'm feeling a newness, right? I feel renewed in all of this, and I'm overwhelmed. People are praying on me afterwards, and it was, if you watch the video from the Bridge Community Church, which they have a YouTube channel, you'll see that. There was like a large group of people just came to me and prayed on me. And that whole time as I was thinking, I was saying to myself, I do a show that's a little bit raucous. It's over the top, and it could be kind of a flamethrower at times. And I understand that. And I thought about just, one, what was on my heart about my passion and who I am. And as I've always said, there's no such thing as coincidence. None. As I was weighing that out before the show, my pastor sent me a text message about that very subject. I had not consulted him on it. I didn't ask him about it. He just sent the message about exactly what was on my heart. And in essence, he said to me, don't ever change. And I was very happy with that. I sent him a message back and said, this is why I knew I belonged to your church. I knew you would understand what was going on in my mind. And he instinctively sent me that text message just to let me know that my walk with Christ got there because of who I am, not in spite of. And it was, it really, really was encouraging. So I am still going to spit the fire that I spit. I'm still going to be the man who I am because, to me, I believe that I'm fighting the good fight for the good people of this state. And I am pushing back on those who wish to exalt themselves over the rest of us. And I truly believe today that my opportunity to be here, I have been called on to do that because that is my role. We all have a role. This one's mine. So there will be no changes. There will be no changes. It will be through my faith that I talk about the things that I do, but I don't think that you could ever appreciate this program if I had to be fake, phony, or corny for that matter. I'm really, I'm certain of who I am, and I have confidence that I'm doing the right thing for the right reasons. Lori Maz says, hey there, in June, go to the Hillstead Museum in Farmington. They have a garden in the back, and it's beautiful. Yeah, Lori, I'm going to say this. Lori, and I appreciate you. You are beautiful people. You know I love that. I don't do gardens. I will take Roseanne because I have to, but I don't do gardens. She wants me to go to botanical gardens, but when I found out they didn't do butterflies anymore, I said no. And butterflies they're beautiful, but they're still insects. And I like looking at the butterflies behind their cage. I don't like flying in there with them because they'll touch me and fly on me. I don't want any of that. Yes, I know they're God's creatures. I understand. But, they're creatures nonetheless. I like looking at them as they flutter inside their little cage. So gardens are not my thing, and because gardens bring insects. And I'm not a fan. They are icky to me. They just are. Did you do that? Did you have ants and rodent and all those weird insects crawling on you? Did you not have an issue with that? I always thought were you that person?
No, I don't like.
You don't like bugs, right?
Yeah, I don't like bugs.
Okay, that's they're weird.
I had snakes. I had a snake.
You had snakes?
A couple times wrapped around. You go to the whatever, and they show you the reptile. They bring out a long white snake or whatever. And
albino.
The guy have his wrapped around, and he's like, "Yeah, you want this wrapped around your neck?" I'm like, "Okay, cool." He put it around the kids' necks and whatnot. Take pictures. Yeah. I think I still have a picture.
I don't like those. Somebody tried to put one around my neck. I lost it.
I wouldn't do it now, though.
My spine turned to jelly. It's just because it's weird. And you feel the muscles moving on you, and I was like, oh, that's like a big giant insect to me.
I thought it was pretty cool.
No, not cool.
As a kid,
not cool at all. Just not
knowing that if it wanted to, it could just tighten around my neck.
Exactly, and you're out, snuffed.
Yeah, you're out
just
of
like that. I have a ground rule. I refuse to deal with any animal that doesn't speak English. It's got to speak English. I just got to be able to communicate. I have to be able to ensure that the animal can communicate with me. In essence, when I say stop, the animal knows to stop. Most animals don't. Dogs, no.
That's a lot of animals you can.
What?
They got the deer whisperer that's online.
I don't know who that
now.
is. There's a deer whisperer?
Yeah.
Stop it.
He comes outside and there's like 60 deer in his yard just waiting for him. He feeds them. He talks to them.
He's got a TV show, doesn't he?
No, it's just on social media.
Okay, I got to check that out. That's actually interesting.
I actually got to see He comes home from work. There, a couple of them was waiting for him. And
really?
Yeah.
You sure he just doesn't have snacks?
No, he has deer feed.
Okay, that's what it is. That's what they're there for. That's easy. I can make an animal do anything if I want. I can make a lion do something if I got a big raw steak.
No. I wouldn't go that far.
We'll take a break. When we come back, folks, Chris Murphy, why is he platformed? I'll tell you when we return, and we'll also embarrass the hell out of him with some obvious misquotes that he did on the Sunday shows just yesterday when we returned. How you doing, Wendy? Welcome to the program. We'll be back. More news, more views, and, of course, your phone calls later at 860-522-WTIC. It's Reese on the Radio.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
Thank you for asking, Kathleen. Yes, I am wearing the Hartford police T-shirt today to show them support when I heard that a Crumb comes to Hartford, which we'll deal with in the next half an hour. I'll break all that down to you. I'm waiting on some clips from said press conference. Those should be coming to me soon. We'll break all that down. Plus, a proposal I think that we can all play a part of. I looked up. There is legal precedent for a lawsuit, and I think this has got to happen. This has got to happen because this will hold people accountable. Also, the police will not have to get involved because people will know better, and we'll talk about it. So stand by for that. I want to get into this because I want to get this guy in and out of the program. That is none other than Christoph Murphy. He was on one of the Sunday programs, and I was thinking about this as I'm watching him, saying to myself, you know, this guy is everywhere, and he's polling at 1%. And many of us believe that he was trying to get a national sort of platform because if you ask anybody in the know, I talked to even Brian Shackman here about it. Shackman will tell you right off the cuff, yeah, he's running for president in 28. But polling is at 1. Doesn't matter what he does. He's anywhere and everywhere except here. And he shows up in polling data as 1. So I think that he has resorted to something else. And that is he's supposed to be a bulldog or a pit bull, I guess, for the Democrat Party. He does all of the Sunday shows and he spews nonsense. Lies, rhetoric, the usual. He's a crash test dummy for the Democrat Party. Clearly. The scary part is that nobody in the media even challenges him on the stuff that he lies about. That's why he only goes to favorite place, or his favorite places who will never push back on him. And it's usually CNN and MSNBC. But I want to play this because this is very relevant to the idea that he is platformed to lie, not to gain any ground politically. He's going to be a senator, and that's it. There is no higher office for him. Unless Democrats get in power, and then for all of the blood that he has spilled for himself, he's always on the cross, he will get a cushy job somewhere in an administration. He'll become a cabinet official should a Democrat ever take office. So I thought it was interesting when he was on the weekend shows, and he said this to Jake Tapper.
What I disagree with is that an aerial military campaign or even the insertion of ground forces can permanently dislodge Iran from having a nuclear weapon. Again, you were talking about knowledge. That can't be bombed out of existence.
So how do you stop it?
A diplomatic agreement. We had a diplomatic agreement. Barack Obama negotiated an agreement in which Iran was more than a year away from getting a weapon. We had daily inspections scouring the country. It was working. Donald Trump's advisors told him it was working. He threw that agreement into the trash, which precipitated the crisis that we are in today. This is a place where diplomacy probably is the only true path to make sure that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon.
Now, he should have been pushed back on that by Jake Tapper. But Jake Tapper's under strict rules. Do not do that to Chris Murphy. Do not make him look silly. So it's left to me. I want you to hear again what Chris Murphy said. The deal that Barack Obama had with Iran, which is the basis of Chris Murphy's argument as to what Donald Trump blew up.
What I disagree with is that an aerial military campaign or even the insertion of ground forces can permanently dislodge Iran from having a nuclear weapon. Again, you were talking about knowledge. That can't be bombed out of existence. So,
now, does he think that Iran is a person? We know it can't be bombed out of existence. His premise is stupid. But he went on.
How do you stop it? A diplomatic agreement. We had a diplomatic agreement. Barack Obama negotiated an agreement in which Iran was more than a year away from getting a weapon. We had daily inspections scouring the country.
There's the part. He said we had daily inspections under the deal with Obama. Is that a lie? Well, I know that those of you on the left will not take my word for it. So I figured you would take the word of Democrats, right? Good. Because here they are talking about the deal that Barack Obama struck with Iran and why so many Democrats were upset about it.
The point at which they started with is not where they ended. Sanctions lifted. Inspections, the U.S. wanted anytime, anywhere. They didn't get those.
The administration set standards like inspections anytime, anywhere, and what we know about this deal says that that's not going to happen.
That is really the core thing. If you don't have anytime, anywhere, what do you really have?
If you don't have access
anywhere, anytime in Iran, then enforcement becomes something really that's impossible to do.
We were told that this is anytime, anywhere. When you really read the language, as I understand it, it's not anytime, anywhere.
Well, Iran is unquestionably the big winner. Look at where the fireworks are going off.
Billions and billions will flood into Iran, legitimizing them and making them a bigger terror tool.
It's amazing to me that we included the arms embargo and the missile technology question as part of this deal.
Even Ash Carter, the president's defense secretary, has said that he has huge concerns allowing the arms embargo to be lifted.
The prospect of weapons going in is not a happy prospect. Iran.
That was Jim Himes. That was Jim Himes who just answered that.
Would be able to keep all these major nuclear facilities, they even get to keep centrifuges inside that facility. If you said that 2 years ago or even a year ago, you would say, wait a second. And even some administration officials and supporters would say, wait a second, we're not going to go that far.
What is your sense that this agreement could set off a new and really volatile Mideast arms race?
It is very possible. In one sense, you have to look at this as a gamble.
I'm disappointed in this deal for all the reasons that have been brought up. And then they'll have a few billion at least left over to kill Americans, Israelis, and work other mischief.
I was skeptical going in. There's nothing that I read last night that alleviates my skepticism.
We, the United States, are accepting the eventuality that they will acquire a nuclear weapon.
I don't think that we can say with any confidence whether Iran will or will not get a nuclear weapon.
They were all furious. There was no deal. Chris Murphy again.
We had daily inspections scouring the country. It was working. Donald Trump's advisors told him it was working. He threw that agreement into the trash, which precipitated the crisis that we are in today. This is a place where diplomacy probably is the only true path to make sure that Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah. Flat out lying. He is platformed to lie. And no pushback is ever given with this guy. None. No pushback. I'll even go one step further for you libs. Let's go with Jonathan Turley, because you guys, you hate him now because he always seems to stick up for Donald Trump. But I got to play this for you folks just because. You remember? They were talking about the War Powers Act, right? Everybody was. This network was. The War Powers Act, the War Power Act. Donald Trump was, what he's doing is unconstitutional. I argued that. I even had evidence of it. Well, listen to Jonathan Turley. And what's great about Jonathan Turley, a constitutional lawyer, is what he says in the next clip. But I want to play the first one for you. He was on Shannon Bream's show, Fox News Sunday.
You have people like Pelosi, Blumenthal, who are expressing revulsion that there was not prior consultation authorization. These are the same people that said that President Obama did not require that authorization for an 8-month war where he attacked the capital city of a foreign country without any imminent threat in an open effort to have regime change.
Madam Leader, you're saying that the president did not need authorization initially and still does not need any authorization from Congress on Libya?
Yes.
And they green-lighted that and said, you don't have to come to us. And so it's bizarre for them now to say, well, but this is a War Powers Act violation. Trump is in compliance with that act. Look, presidents since Jefferson have been boxing in Congresses over their ability to start wars. I mean, they have a right to initiate combat operations. That's been accepted since the beginning of the Republic. Once you're in those operations, it's very hard to get that cat to walk backwards. But these members are in direct contradiction to their prior positions.
Now, I know a lot of people on the left are going to say, but Reese, that cannot be a fact, right? They've got to be able, even though it's true, right? The two things must be different, right? Libya, 8 months. This isn't a war in Iran. We're 2 weeks in. That was an 8-month war. And there was no Congress approval of that 8 months. We're 2 weeks in. Okay? You can't even compare the two. But I want to go one step further because guess what? That clip I played with Nancy Pelosi saying that the president did not need authorization from Congress. Yeah, but she says, are you saying that he didn't need? Yes, that's what I'm saying. It goes one step further. Nancy Pelosi's team responded to the fact that she did say the president didn't need authorization when it was Barack Obama, not Pelosi. She got her people to respond. So Shannon Bream read the response. Listen.
A spokesperson for former Speaker Nancy Pelosi says there is an absolute distinction between the limited military operations in Libya and the broad escalating war with Iran initiated by President Trump. They're calling it a war of choice.
That, I got to tell you, that dog won't hunt. I represented members challenging the Libyan war. We lost that case. And the fact is courts have deferred to presidents and to Congresses in the use of their respective authorities here. But to say that Libya was in any way a limited war is perfectly bizarre. I mean, we took out columns of military units. We attacked the capital city. We made it clear that we wanted regime change. What's limited about that? It went on for 8 months and billions of dollars.
So, with all due respect, folks, these people are platformed to lie. They are. And I wanted to play Jonathan Turley more so for that second piece than the other. Jonathan Turley actually represented Congress that was pushing back on Barack Obama and the war in Libya. And they lost the case, saying that the president, Barack Obama, had the authority to do what he did for 8 months in Libya. Okay? So this twist into pretzels over this, that conversation is over. Okay? You see how this works? So before you start taking all that stuff, it's Jonathan Turley, he represented the people who fought against Barack Obama in the war in Libya, and he lost. Why? Because constitutionally, Obama had the authority, as does Trump. They are not two different presidencies, ladies and gentlemen. They are the same. We'll take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views when we return. It's Reese on the Radio.
It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Yes, when we return, a Crumb comes to Hartford. When we return. We'll get into all of that. And from what I found, I think we can do something about this. We can hold people to account in the future, since this is a growing issue around the country. And I want to address that. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you stick around for the 3 o'clock hour. Let's talk to my buddy Rudy. What's going on, man?
Whoa, you have me on hold for like 3 hours.
Yeah, I've got a show to do. What's up, baby?
You got a show to do. You're running your mouth. Never mind.
Thank you. I get paid to run my mouth, by the way.
I do my yard work and everything on Mondays. It's my only day off during the week, so I put you on.
Okay.
I was baptized 2016, August 22nd in Middletown, Connecticut.
Okay.
At Fellowship Church he's retiring, so I want to give him a prop. Anyone out there in Middletown, Pastor Andy at Fellowship Church is retiring. He's about to be gone. He's best friends with Pastor Will Marotti.
Okay.
So I'm just throwing that out there because you brought up you were baptized. It took you long enough to get there. I still don't know why, and this isn't why I'm calling, but I still don't know why you moved to Connecticut. But
because I love it.
I despised your wife because she was a Democrat until recently. But she's the smart one that's holding on to her property in Texas.
Yeah, well, that was my idea, by the way.
Oh, but she'll leave you in Connecticut, divorce you, leave you, and be back as a Republican in Texas while you suffer in Connecticut with my boys like Mark from West Hartford and Joe from Simsbury.
I'm not going to suffer, my friend.
And all you Catholic callers and listeners, you're not baptized because you were infants. I was a Catholic. I left the church at 15, went to non-denominational churches after that. You don't know what baptism is until you get to accept Christ in your life. So you need to be an adult. And, I've been mean and tore people up on here, but you got to fight evil. And Democrats from Hamden and Wallingford and stuff like that are evil. But
I'm not. Listen, I will tell you this, and it's so great that you said that, because that's what I was thinking about before I got the message from my pastor. As I was
Reese,
thinking about
make sure I could give you my message of why I was calling.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that message was what I was thinking about, is saying that I cannot forget the fact that there are evildoers out there. They're going to still continue their message no matter what I say or no matter what I do. So I've got a job to do. Anyway, what was the reason why you called?
Well, one more thing about that. In 2004, I accepted Christ into my life, but I told my pastor that I was baptized when I was a baby. I didn't need to do it. It took me 12 years to realize that you have to be an adult to accept baptism and change. And I don't want to say I was a nymphomaniac, but I was a woman hound.
Gotcha.
Up until I got baptized.
Gotcha.
And I've pretty much been clean. I've slipped twice in 10 years. But I called because Barack Hussein Obama did a speech today.
He did a speech today?
Or today or yesterday for the Jesse Jackson?
That was yesterday. Well, the day before yesterday was Saturday.
Saturday. Whatever. I work in hospitality, so I was busy all weekend.
Right.
But what a piece of garbage this man is. Even Jesse Jackson's liberal progressive son asked to keep politics out of it first. And Jesse stepped up. I mean, Obama stepped up there and destroyed it. And on top of that,
he wasn't the only one, by the way.
I know. On top of that, I have Newsmax 2. I have Antenna TV, but Newsmax 2 is on Antenna TV. On top of that, when I turned on TV about 10 minutes before you came on, they're showing that ISIS bombed Gracie Mansion because there was a bunch of right-wing Republicans standing in front of it protesting Mandani.
Oh, I got that.
You're bombing your own brother's house. What is wrong with these people? And why are Democrats – you see, you should have taken me earlier when there was more time. Why are Democrats supporting people like Mandani? Why do you have ISIS?
It's New York. It's New York.
How many miles away from Hartford is New York?
Hey, no, I'm not. Listen to me. I say it over and over again. Just don't pay attention to that craziness. But you're 100% right. They are close by, and trust me, they are creeping up that I-95 corridor. I got to take a break.
They have a fake nonprofit called 860 BLM. So you guys.
I know, Rudy. I know. I got it all covered. I promised in the next half. I got it all covered. I love you, brother.
Blow up Mandami's house because there's a bunch of Republicans with bacon in front.
I'll talk to you. We got to get to the news. Top of the hour is coming up with John Silver, and of course, he'll have any updates on the Benjamin Crumb news conference. We'll see whether or not there's any audio for that when we return. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio. John Silver is up next on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I try. I try. You mean John Silver told me in the newsroom, because I said to you folks that if there's any sound bites from Benjamin Crumb's press conference, that we would have it for you. And then John Silver told me that they hadn't even started yet, and it was right before 3 o'clock. This press conference was scheduled for 2:30. And they had just got underway roughly about 3 o'clock. What was delaying this press conference? What was delaying it? This is embarrassing. Just embarrassing. Listen, the most important thing about civil, look, this is one thing if you're going on tour and you're going to come out and you're going to sing a couple of hip-hop songs. That's one thing. Sure, keep the crowd thirsting for you. But this is civil rights 101. You show up on time. That's what you're supposed to do. This ain't a concert. You're not putting out a mixtape. What are these people doing? Show up on time. Goodness gracious. People got things to do. You're doing a press conference in the middle of the day while people are at the office. There are people who took time off of work. Maybe they came out during their lunch break to show support. Be on time. Goodness gracious, Ben Crumb. You're supposed to be a professional. So anyway, we got to wait now for the soundbites. Fine, when they come, we'll do whatever. We'll get to that point. Also, we'll talk about I guess somewhat, and we have to call it a terrorist attack. That's what it is in New York City. Please burn it to the ground. Let me just say this. Last week, I talked about this ridiculous rally that they were having in Hartford where only like 6 people showed up. They had promised they were going to block traffic. It wasn't enough people to block a bus. Hell, wasn't enough people to block a smart car. They couldn't do it. They all went home with their tail between their legs. It was a joke, clown show. Well, now the family of Stevie Jones has called Benjamin Crumb, and a Crumb comes to Hartford. And what he is up here to do, if not to sue the city, because that's what it's going to be. Benjamin Crumb ain't coming here to do nothing but collect his pound of flesh. And in his view, he's waiting for the city to fold. He knows who the mayor is. He knows who the legislature is. And he is waiting for somebody to say, you know what, listen, Ben, don't bring that stuff here. Listen, how much it going to cost? How much, tell me how many zeros we got to put on the check. Okay? Just to make it go away. They know the drill. That's the extortion. That's exactly what's going to happen. There'll be the accusation of racism and bigotry. There'll be, conversations about murder. The most inflammatory language will come right out of a so-called attorney's mouth. And all the cameras will be there. All the press will be there, sucking it up like a bunch of stenographers. Nobody will challenge him. That's why they did it at 2:30. If they had done it at 12, you know for a fact that yours truly would have been there. And I would have shouted over it. Nobody there is going to be like, we'll take any questions. They would have all been, thank you very much. We appreciate you. We're going to go home now. Nope. I would have said, Ben, what happened to the lawsuit in Buffalo where you tried to sue the internet companies over the Tops grocery store shooting, where you threatened to go after anyone who helped that young man commit that solo heinous act against black folks at the Top supermarket? What happened to that? That's what I would have asked. Hey, Ben Crumb, why weren't you here when we couldn't get the video released of the murder of J. Allen Jones? Where are you on that one? Have you spoken to the Attorney General, William Tong, on that in-between lawsuits against Donald Trump? Where are you? Will you be helping the family of J. Allen Jones? We didn't see you up here for that. Nobody's family called you for that. What's the deal? Nothing, right? That's what I would be asking. Now, I'm not saying that these news folks don't have guts to do that. They don't care to do that. Those stories are important, aren't they? Right? Where are you on the woman of color who was sent all the way down to Delaware after 2 correction officers sexually assaulted her? Where? And they offered her a measly couple of $1,000s for her to be quiet. That was a woman of color. Where were you on that? No lawsuit? None? You don't want that money? Huh? Don't you get a piece of that? There's a whole lot of lawsuits you can be a part of. Where are you? That's what I would have said. We got nothing. Huh? Where are you on the prison system? We got an audit that said the prisons have mold, that the prisons are unlivable. Where's the lawsuit data? Where's Al Sharpton? Where's Al Sharpton? Nothing. That's what I would have asked. Nobody asked any of that. So here's what I would like to propose, folks. Enough is enough. Since a Crumb comes to Hartford, I suggest we do a little bit of reciprocity in the whole litigation space. It may not always win, but we should at least propose the threat. It is called negligent entrustment. Ever heard of it? Neither did I. And I just, did a quick search on it. And I said that there must be a way that we should be able to sue the family of one of these individuals who are out on the street wreaking havoc, right? Now, we shouldn't have a society where people with mental issues are allowed to just walk through the neighborhood with long knives. Did anybody bother to ask the question about Stephen Jones? Like, where the hell did he get the long knife? That was an awfully long. What did that look like to you? What did it look like that thing cut? Sirloin or New York strip? What do you think? Anybody? Where'd that knife come from? Let me explain to you negligent entrustment. Like I said, it doesn't always work, but we should have the threat of it. The entrustment, the defendant, who's the entruster, owned or controlled or had authority over the item and permitted or allowed the other person, the entrustee, in this case it would have been Stevie, to use or possess it. This can be expressed with handing over keys, leaving a vehicle accessible with knowledge it will be taken. Incompetence or unfitness of the entrustee. The person entrusted was incompetent, unfit, or likely to use the item dangerously due to factors like their inexperience or youth, their reckless or habitual poor behavior, intoxication or impairment, physical or mental condition. The knife, ladies and gentlemen. The knife. We need to be able to find out if this particular person, or anyone for that matter, has had other outbursts or other engagement with police that put them or someone else in harm's way. How many people do you know? I mean, think about it. Did they mental health proof the home? If Stevie is a danger, we should know. If this family left knives or other dangerous items around for Stevie or any other mental health patient to access, we should hold that family accountable. Stevie left the house. Before the police arrive, he could have harmed others. Before the police arrived, right? The police weren't sitting outside of his door. Stevie came outside with that knife. Think about it. And what constitutes the threat, ladies and gentlemen? Let me explain. No one else in the neighborhood approached him. Did they? Did anybody else in the neighborhood approach Stevie before the cops came? Why? Why? Is it because he's holding a long knife? Yes. Everybody knew Stevie's name. Nobody knew Stevie's name. Everybody knew his name. You hear them screaming at him, Stevie! Put it down, Stevie! They knew him. And Stevie was holding the knife before the police officers get there. Be it 5 minutes, be it 2 minutes. They saw Stevie with the knife. Not one person walked up to Stevie to say, hey, Stevie, come on, give me the knife. Why? Ask yourself the question, why Joe Schmo didn't walk up to Stevie and say, come on, Stevie, man, give me that knife. Why? I'll tell you why. Because they didn't know what Stevie was going to do. They knew that it was a dangerous situation. If they approached Stevie, he may very well stab them. So therefore, Stevie is a public health risk. Right? He is a public safety risk. Isn't he? When the police are there with their guns drawn, nobody got in between them. Nobody said, no, he's okay. No, I can talk him down. Nobody did. Nobody there. Everybody stood back. The police were left there to engage him. if Stevie wasn't a threat. Now, this constitutes, in my view, that Stevie had a known history of doing something close to this. And I think I need discovery here. I think it's fair for all of us to say, Stevie, yes, was shot down. Yes, Stevie was shot by the officer 9 times. We don't have an argument there. But why did we get here? It's the same case with Everard Walker. People said, his family lawyer said, Everard Walker walked around with that ratchet or that blade like every other Jamaican does. So in one breath, they're telling us he's just like every other Jamaican, but mentally ill. So that means the people who are in his care, knowing that he takes medication, allowed him to walk around with a blade in his pocket. Negligent entrustment, isn't it? If you can't maintain the behaviors of said entrustee, making sure they take the medication, making sure they don't have access to violent materials or dangerous materials. If you don't, we need to hold them accountable. Am I wrong? We shouldn't keep leaving this stuff to the cops, right? Everybody keeps saying that. They were saying that at the Black Lives Matter 860 protest. Even King, the president of Black Lives Matter 860, was saying that. We have to stop relying on the cops. We need to walk in the middle of that. It was King's own words. You go and watch the video yourself. He walked up there and says, we need to step up and go, don't worry, officer, I got this. Well, why didn't they say that with Stevie? Why didn't that happen? The neighborhood knew him. When I was growing up, we all knew the neighborhood, guy. I don't want to use a disparaging term for them. But, we all had a term. Wild Out Willie, things like that. We had names for them. We knew better than to mess with them. So everybody knew this guy. You could tell that in a video. They're screaming his name. He's popular. But not one person came in and intervened. Not when I'm holding that knife, because he was a threat. Let's accept it, folks. Let's accept it. So that's what we need to do. We need somebody to step up and say, enough is enough. We are not going to take this out on the mentally ill. We believe in freedoms. We believe that there should be, if they do not have to be in a mental health institution and they are allowed to be free. Because again, remember, there's a lot of folks who are in these mental institutions which they are very happy and eager to release. Don't we have the cannibal now that's living in Middletown? Don't we know that? Again, they tell us all the time, no, we need to give them an opportunity to live normal lives. Okay, well, there's got to be some accountability for that, right? We don't want to cage everybody. If you want to do that, there should be some recourse for the rest of us. And once we start doing that, once that pushback starts happening, guess what happens? People become more responsible. The Stevies out there, immediately, everybody's going, hey, put those knives in that lockbox. Get it over there. Nope. I am not losing my home. No, Stevie, no. Listen, I will cut your English muffin for you. But I want to do it myself. Look, I understand that. But do you understand that we don't want to get in trouble? I don't want to have an episode. This is for your safety. And so that you and I and all of us can have a home to live in, we just want to be careful. Make them understand. Make sure these people are accountable. Why? So we don't have to have these episodes where cops come in and 211 doesn't have to be called and everybody's strangers. Remember that. That's people are forgetting. These 211 operators are dealing with people they have no relationship to. And the people who do have the relationship with them are relying on strangers to help them in a situation where they have access to violent things, right? To dangerous things. Let's hold them accountable. Why not? I don't know any lawyers who will. I don't even believe that anyone will take it up. But it's something we should consider. Hell, I wouldn't be opposed to someone passing a law I know it sounds crazy that I would say it, but I'm not opposed to it. I mean, but it's there. Negligent entrustment. Like I said, it's shaky. Allowing an inexperienced person to operate heavy machinery or tools at a work site, knowing that they lack skills. That's a common example here. All there needs to do is to be some sense. Here's a mental illness cases. It says, this doctrine rarely applies entrusting items to adults with mental health issues unless the entrustor, had specific knowledge that the person posed an imminent and foreseeable risk of harm. Now, again, this is where we get into the weeds. But if there is, in discovery, to find out that there were cases that this individual may have tried to harm himself or others in the past, that lawsuit should proceed. But we should have that discovery. We should have that opportunity to get that discovery. File that lawsuit. And if people in the community who are housing individuals with mental issues, they will do what's right. Stevie will never leave the house with a knife. Never. Because he won't have access to them. Because people know that there's going to be litigation on the other side of it. It's just the way I see it. If you think I'm crazy, let me know. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. We'll see if we can get some audio on this Benjamin Crumb thing in a minute. I'm waiting to see if I got any emails. All right, we'll holler later. We'll be back. It's Reese on the radio.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
Also, make sure you go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com so you can read my Substack article for this past Sunday. It is published every Sunday morning on Substack at 7:30, midnight on X. For those of you who are on X, it's always there on midnight on Sunday, and Facebook that morning, roughly about 8 o'clock. So wherever it is that you follow Reese on the Radio, those are the three places you can get it. So you have to subscribe to Substack so you can go directly into your email. And thank you all for checking out and re-subbing it, which is sort of like you reposting it. When you get the article, this week we're talking about DCF because that was a huge part of our conversation yesterday. And last week, I'm sorry. And we had everybody from my pastor, Pastor Todd, as well as Deborah Stevenson, the constitutional attorney, who is fighting against this law that Martin Looney is pretty much authoring that says that parents would have to be monitored, if not researched, by DCF if they wish to take their children out of public schools, be it to move or to homeschool. So many people thought that this was directly related to homeschooling. Now it's if you move into a different town and everything is sort of on the table, that if you should remove your child, you're getting a DCF file on it. We also learned that it is unconstitutional for the state to do this. And I went and looked it up, aside from what we learned from Deborah Stevenson. She is a lawyer. She owns her own firm, and she went through the Constitution. I ended up backing up her claims by looking it up myself to find out the constitutionality of this law. There is none. In fact, we heard that many of these agencies are saying we can't even enforce it, which doesn't make sense anyway. And a lot of people are up in arms about it. One in particular is the official pastor of Reese on the Radio. Now, I know I have a pastor. You know, my pastor is Pastor Todd. But the official pastor of Reese on the Radio is Pastor Jacob DELL. And he spoke about it, which I'm very, very happy to hear. He said he was going to do it, and he is using his pulpit to talk about these things. Here's what he said about it in the last Sunday service.
Bible study continues in the parsonage Wednesday evenings at 6:30. Now, I will say this. There is a major day going on in Hartford this Wednesday. I think 3 or 4 really terrible bills are in hearing. The first is about homeschooling. You may think that has nothing to do with you if your children aren't young or grown or whatnot, but if you're a homeschooling family, this directly affects you. If you're a private school family, this directly affects you. If you think you may ever want to send your children or your grandchildren to private school or to homeschool them, this directly affects you. What this bill will require, if it's passed, is for every parent to go before the school board and indicate an intent to educate, which then puts them into the system. Worse, it means that if you ever want to withdraw your child from the system, even if you want to just move out of state, you now need the permission of the local board of education. Think about that. Think about what that means. So a lot of us are going up there to testify against that bill. I've already submitted my written testimony against that bill. There's another bill coming out of the Health Committee about mandated vaccine schedules. Now, you may be pro-vax. I have nothing against vaccinations. I'm vaxxed, all right? But this is about the integrity of your own body. This is about making sure that what we supposedly learned at Nuremberg and under Germany isn't repeated here.
He says Nazi Germany, if you're wondering about the beep. And he did that he self-censored that beep. So Pastor Jacob DELL is out there talking to his congregation, letting them know what's going on in the legislature. And we applaud him for doing that. He kept his word that he tried for a very long time not to do it because he thought it was wrong. But, of course, he learned that there were plenty of pastors on the opposite side politically doing it at their churches and to their congregations. So he figured, hey, what the heck? If they're going to do it, might as well do it with my constituents as well. And we applaud him for doing that. And rightly so, because they need to know what's going on. So there are a lot of people. I didn't realize this, and I'm learning this so much. The more I talk to people, and the more I talk to people who have been homeschooled, this is a serious threat to them. And I want you to look at it from this perspective. For those of you who are on the fence about this, and I don't really believe that there are. I feel in this space, even the leftists know this to be true. You really pay attention to sort of the dichotomy that's happening here. You have one system that is failing these children. We have some schools with 30% proficiency, 40% proficiency in reading and math, respectively. As I talked about last week, we have a Chicago school, 27 students, a teacher ratio of 1-to-1, $93,000 per student spent in Chicago, 0 proficient in math or reading. The basic skills of math and reading, 0. They can't get it right. Doesn't matter how much money you throw at it, public schools are failing you. And then you get an interview with Pastor Todd Williams. You have an interview with attorney Deborah Stevenson. And you find out that their children reading chapter books at 3, 4 years old. 17-year-old bachelor degrees. 21-year-old PhDs. They're finishing school faster with degrees in things that your kids got to go to school. We're talking about school, college. Some 4 and 5 years. These kids are finishing that schooling so early in age that if they took a loan, they would have probably have paid it off as early as when they're 30 years old. Deborah Stevenson, that attorney, sat here across me and told me that she has a daughter who was homeschooled since she was the youngest, maybe 3, 4 years old. Astrophysicist. And she's in her 30s. And you argue that with the 0 proficiency in schools, the public school system, and then you find out that Martin Looney and others, by the way, Martin Looney's not in this alone. There are plenty of legislators across the country who are fighting homeschooling in this way. Why? Because it threatens the very fabric of how abysmal the school system is. And if kids are leaving that school system, think about the might and the power that those people are. And I'll go so far as to explain it this way. Teachers and teachers' unions will not have the foothold they have on politicians if more and more parents can drag their kids out of school. That used to be the power of the teachers' union. They can use those union dues to lobby politicians for a host of things. Usually it's pay. It's not even a host of things. It's usually pay. Pension pay, insurance pay, medical pay, whatever the case may be. And when it no longer has that kind of lobbying power, politicians need that money. And if the teachers union is upset, hey, we're losing all of these kids. You know, people don't want to join our profession because it's getting more dangerous. More and more kids are failing and parents don't trust us anymore. The lobbying power, kind of non-existent. So who's got to go to bat for them? The politician does. Can't cut off that spigot. Now, again, I'm not calling Martin Looney or anybody else for that matter a crook. But we know how this game is played. He can't deny it. None of them can. That money matters. That unholy alliance that usually just leaves kids destroyed in the end. Kids without futures. Come on. What happens? They know that once those kids, their future is over, once they've left the school system, when they do, they drop out. They don't care. They're waiting for the next batch. Why do you think they're spending so much money on illegal kids to go to school? They got to keep getting. They have to keep filling that void. More and more American kids have totally abandoned education. You got to fill that void. How do we do it? Illegals. What do? They fund that. They spend $649 million on illegal immigration. On illegal education, I should say. It's a lot of money to be spending. It's taxpayer dollars. That money doesn't go to the kids. That money gets, there's a whole funneling of that money going right back to the politician. The money gets allotted to the school system to fund illegals going to that school. It goes to teachers' pay, which essentially goes to teachers' dues, which goes to the teachers' union, which is then used to lobby the legislature through endorsements or otherwise. It's a slush fund. That's it. And people think that the objective is to keep them in and to deter them from leaving. They need that money coming. And this is not over. Even if the law's passed, and I just want to tell everybody that, it ain't over. If the law gets passed overwhelmingly, and I'm sure it will, because the arrogance of this legislation, these legislators will definitely show. It's what they do. But this is going to pass, and it's going to court. And if it doesn't get shot down by the courts here, it will go to the Supreme Court. Without a doubt. I'm telling you it's going. It's just a process that it has to go. I've not heard anyone on the left as far as politicians who are saying maybe we've overreached. Not heard anybody. But, like I said, it may have to go there. They want this more than they want to follow the law. So, it's got to happen. I'm all for it. I want to watch every bit of it. So don't fret, folks. It doesn't matter whether or not it passes. It won't matter at all. This is just going up the chain. It's going up the chain. And there are people, including Deborah Stevenson, our guest last week, and go back and listen to that interview. She'll lay it out for you. There are people like her who are definitely going to take this thing to court, and it'll be struck down beyond a shadow of a doubt. So hold fast. We'll be good. We come back, more news, more views. I've got a thing. Democrats say that they love this country. And they say in loving this country, you should be able to criticize it. That's their defining mantra on loving this country. I want to test that theory when we return. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Also, we got coming up is the stupidest thing I read today, as well as music news, which we'll get into roughly about the 5 o'clock hour. Today, if you are interested, and I think I've posted this everywhere, if you are a friend of Reese on the Radio on Facebook or on the fan page, which is one is just Reese Hopkins, the other one is Reese on the Radio. If you're either one of those places or you're a friend on Instagram, even TikTok for that matter, I think it is, the only place where you can't find it is on YouTube. If you are interested, I want you to check out the new T-shirts that we are getting made. I have a meeting in April, maybe even sooner. I'm praying. David, make it sooner. We can get to, David and I are going to get together and work it out to get these T-shirts made. But we have the Plan You Work and Work Your Plan T-shirts. Also, we have a comic book T-shirt of myself and Roseanne, and there's one of me pointing at the camera that we're putting together. So there will be there'll be two styles, one black, one white. That's where we're sticking with it right now. And there was someone said to me, and I want to say it's Elaine who sent me a message and says, I'll take one if you make them for girls, and I'd like a V-neck. And I heard that. I just went, I can't do custom T-shirts. But how about this? How about I make the ladies' T-shirts V-necks? Maybe that would work better. It appears that ladies like it. Is that a thing? I never knew that. The ladies like the V-neck T-shirts. I will do that as well. Plus, I'm trying to figure out sizes. I think I'm going to do 4 sizes: small, medium, large, and extra large. A lot of the guys like asking me for extra large shirts. Guys, if you're asking me for 2X and above, that might be a little difficult, but I'll work on it. But we're just going to do extra large. We're going to do 4 sizes: small, medium, large, and extra large. And we'll leave it at that. And we're going to do 2 different shirts, ones that you can purchase if you wish to, and then we're going to do some giveaway shirts as well. But if you want to check them out, the shirts are Plan Your Work and Work Your Plan, and then the 2 comic book T-shirts. If you're interested in them, go check them out. Each of them will have whatever it is that's on the front. On the back, there'll be an Reese on the Radio, an R&R, the logo on the back, which is, of course, if you're watching on the screen, it's right there above my head on the right. That's pretty much what it looks like, the R&R with the microphone, which someone mentioned to me the other day and said, hey, Reese, did you get that from the EIB network for Rush Limbaugh? And I have to admit, I really do believe I did. And it was unintentional and maybe subconscious. The day that Rush Limbaugh died, I was doing a tribute for him on my podcast, and I was looking at the EIB network. I put it up on the screen, and I started staring at it, and I went, oh, wow. And I hadn't thought of it. That when I was designing Reese on the Radio, I was totally inadvertently inspired by the EIB network logo and made that logo with the R&R backwards with the microphone. And I was channeling Rush's logo. So, yeah, 100%. I believe it. I don't doubt it at all. He is a lot of my inspiration. Let's get our first check of traffic and weather.
It's Reese on the Radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Let me see if I can take this real quick, a minute and a half. Jim's in Waterbury. How you doing, big guy?
Hello?
Yeah, what's going on, Jim?
Yeah, no, I say in this thing with Murphy, why don't he come out and be honest that he's anti-American and pro-Iran?
I don't know. Again, I think
and the Democrats. This goes back to the time of Obama when he actually funded him to build the nuclear weapons.
He knows that. That's why I said he goes on these platforms to pretty much do nothing but, like I said, he's the bulldog for the Democrat Party. He goes on the Sunday shows. He spews the lies. Nobody pushes back. It's all this, let Chris Murphy explain it all, right? He's the one who's telling everybody exactly what we're supposed to accept as the facts. And the reason why I laid it out that way is because Chris knows that even his own party was disenchanted with the deal that Obama made with Iran because it gave everything to Iran and it gave us nothing. He went on that show on Sunday and said that we could check it anytime. Everybody knew that was one of the things that Obama gave up. Just give them all the billions and no one can inspect the sites.
They're just plain anti-America. And that should be some of what's brought up in the campaigns, too.
Indeed. Yeah, and again, this is the part that the visualization of these guys in their own words should be prominent when they go on these campaigns or when they start doing campaign ads. Make it about your opponent and what he says. Make sure it works every time. Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you, buddy. Have a good one. We're going to take another check with weather and traffic with Mark Christopher. When we come back, this is something that Democrats say to us all the time. What is wrong with loving America and being critical of it? And I say, okay, you're right, Democrats. But I think that that's bull. And I want to challenge that theory when we come back. Go nowhere. I think this is going to be good. Mark Christopher, he is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, sir.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. And stupidest thing I read today coming up, as well as your music news, your phone calls, of course, will be taken later on in the program on this Monday at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Still waiting on that audio. When it comes over, I will play some of it for you. So I'm sitting in my chair in my so-called office, which is the living room of our apartment. It's only, it's like just under 600 square feet. So Roseanne is, in her room watching the Melania documentary, and I'm in the living room working on the show, getting, stuff set up. And, I see these people who are walking around and criticizing the United States and calling it a racist country. And, they're saying that, and you can push back as you try. If it's such a racist country, why do all the immigrants or all the foreigners or the black and brown people dying to get here? Nobody has an answer for you. But I remember one answer that a very smart liberal said to me once. And they said, Reese, I'm an American. I fought for my country. I love this country just as much as you do. And to prove that I love this country, I'll do this, that, and the third, and I've done this, that, and the third. But you have to understand that loving this country means being able to criticize it when it's done wrong. And I've heard that for a long time. I want to say 30, 40 years. I've heard that from everyone. Then it dawned on me. And I don't even know how it happened. It just popped into my head. I said, you know what? They're right. If they criticize it, right? If they love it so much, you should be able to criticize it. That shows how much you love it. That makes sense. But I've got a question, Democrats. If that's fair, if that's accurate, why don't you use that strategy on your wife? or your girlfriend. I'm just wondering, why not? I'm sure you love your wife, right? I'm sure you probably love your wife more than you love your country, right? Loving your wife is something that you clearly do. You love the country, you love your wife, you probably love your wife more, and being critical of something is an expression of your love. Why doesn't that work with your wife? I said that to Roseanne before I left work today. I just said, yeah, Democrats say that they love their country so much they're willing to criticize it. Why don't they do their wives? My wife looked at me and said, you better never do that. Love me less. Don't you ever come in here and criticize me. Think about it. Would you do the same thing? No. You wouldn't dream of it. That's how I know the whole thing is a lie. I know these people hate the country. They try to pull the wool over our eyes. Tell us something that crazy. Because I believe, to be honest with you, I believe that if I love something enough, I should be able to criticize it. I should be, but I don't. If my wife burns the dinner, the hell if I'll tell her. How's it taste, honey? Perfect. You want to know why? Because I want her to cook again. I wanted to make sure that she makes me. Imagine me telling her that the food was awful. You know, honey, you're just not a good cook. It's just because I love you, babe. I love you enough to tell you the truth, to be critical. Huh? Which flies in the face of all that nonsense, doesn't it? Again, I put this on my leftist friends. All my Democrat friends, I want to see you do it. I want you to call me up. Send me a message. You know what, Reese? I took your advice. You're right. If we love something, we should all be able to criticize it. And I did it with my wife yesterday. Oh, come on and try. You ladies out there, ask yourself, do you want your husband to love you enough to tell you the truth about you? To be critical of you? Do you want them to treat you like they would these United States? Like, I want you to ask yourself, ladies, if you want your husband to talk about you the way Democrats who love America talk about it. Tell me if that is not a recipe for disaster. I think it is. Roland, how about you? Would you risk it all because you love your wife so much that you want to tell her, honey, I love you enough, I need to criticize you? Do you think it's a good idea?
Yeah.
Ah! Oh, so you think that's
we're in an honest relationship. Feelings get hurt every day.
Every day?
Yeah, either mine, my daughter's, or my wife's. Feelings get hurt every day.
You having like a WWE family over there. Every day, every bit? I don't think that's a recipe for success, my friend.
It's been 20 years, since 2005.
Okay, maybe you guys have gotten coupled. Maybe you really love your wife. You love her enough to criticize her. Would you crap on her food, though?
Yeah, all the time.
You do?
Yeah.
And she still cooks?
Well, she did. You would think that I just told her last week, matter of fact, I was like, if I'm telling you this is the way I like my eggs,
ooh,
why won't you say, okay, when you come home, cook the eggs, show me how you cook it,
okay,
so I can do it that way, the way you like it.
She doesn't do that.
She wants me to just be happy with the way she cooks it. And I said, do I do that for you? If you say, hey, I like something like this, I make sure I do it like that every time, because in my head, I'm like, oh, yeah, she likes it like this, so let me do it. That should be reciprocal.
Oh, okay.
But it's not. She just want me to take the eggs, be thankful that she got up and cooked them. I said, I can cook them myself. I don't need you to cook them. I can cook them myself.
You have to be the outlier. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't. Listen to me. I criticized Roseanne once, and I'm still feeling it. Still feeling it to this day. Let me take Tanya real quick. Where's she calling from? Oh, from Norwich. All the way down in Norwich. Hi, Tanya. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm great. What do you got for me? So is your husband brutally honest with you? That's how much he loves you?
He's not brutal. I think you have to know your partner.
Right.
So, for example, if I make a food that he doesn't like, he'll eat it.
Yes,
but
that's what I do.
I'll say, you want another plate? He's like, no, I'm good. That's telling me he doesn't like it.
Wait a minute. So if you ask him if he wants some more food and he says no, you take that as he doesn't like the food?
Yes, because normally he's a second plate man.
Oh, okay. But wait a minute. Hold on. That is a little different, Tanya, than him being critical. He is sort of non-responsive. So in essence, he does spare your feelings by not being overtly critical, right?
Right. That's why I'm saying you have to know your partner.
Yes.
And
right.
how they're going to respond to whatever you're negative about.
Right, exactly. That's my whole point. What I'm saying here about liberals or what Democrats are telling me is that their harsh criticism of the United States is showing their love. But I would say what would be better off is if Democrats would behave more like your husband. They would say, you know what, I like America, I just don't want seconds. You know what I mean?
Right. But remember, politics is different than personal relationships.
That is true. 100% true. So how long have you been married, Tanya?
27 years, been together 28.
You know what? I applaud your husband. Here's why. Because it probably took him that long to realize how to answer every one of those questions, didn't it?
I don't think you're wrong.
No, okay. So in the beginning, it was a lot of trial and error until he got it right.
Yes, on both parts.
I hear that, without a doubt. Well, please tell your husband I say hello, and thank you so much for listening.
Okay, you have a good day.
Thank you, you too. Tanya says that what husband learned a long time ago. What do you got? Walcott? It's all about presentation. I love it. Presentation matters. I'm not going to lie. Presentation does matter. Let me go to Brian first in Portland. How you doing, Brian?
Good afternoon, Reese. I was the guy that spoke to you last year when you had a contest about your wife with April Fools.
Yes.
And you said, bring it on, and I told you about how I had done that with an automobile.
Yes.
And you said that you would never do that with your wife.
Yes.
All right, well, my point here, I just like to, you just said that veterans, people that fought for their country, want to be critical of their country, and you jumped from that to marriage. And I thought that was
I didn't say veterans. I didn't say veterans. I said people.
Served your country. Served your country.
No, I never said that. I never said anybody who served the country. I was talking about Democrats who say that they are critical of the United States is an expression of how much they love it. Just people, just average people, not veterans.
Okay, then I apologize.
No,
sir.
that's okay.
I did not listen to you correctly. I apologize.
No, that's okay.
I'm sorry to have taken your time.
No.
You have a good day, sir.
Thank you. You got it.
Sir.
Yeah, first of all, if you fought for this country, you got 100%. Carte blanche. Of course you can. That's all I'm saying is the average citizen who says that they're critical of the country, and I'm talking about in the harshest of terms. And I started off by saying people who called it racist and bigoted and all those things and saying, all I'm trying to do is just tell, the country that I love that I'm critical of. And I was like, why don't you use that in your everyday life? Not a lot of people will, right? If this is true that if you love something, you're critical of it, use it with your spouse. I could imagine nothing more. I could imagine nothing else you love more than your country other than your significant other. Let's go to Bob. What's going on, sir?
Hey, Reese, don't ever criticize the wife's cooking. You got to use the reverse psychology rule. Like my wife, we did the cutlets yesterday, and she doesn't like to stand in there, and I like them nice and brown. You know? It's real important. So I just go in, hey, sweetheart, let me help you out here. Can I do something for you? It works like a charm, man.
Really?
You got to play them. Yeah, you got to play it out. You don't ever want to interrupt those nice meals. So
you know what? And this is, listen to me, you are absolutely not only understanding it, but guess what? I can use this towards the United States, right? A country that has done amazing things for a lot of us, given us an opportunity. You would think that we would treat her better. That's the only argument I'm making with the left, is that this is not, you may not get the opportunity that you want, but you have a lot of opportunity here to make this argument, and that's why I think that it's untrue. When people say that they're critical of the country because they love her so much, it's like, I love her so much, I can be critical of her. I'm like, fine. That should be applied in every other facet of your life. You know, go to your job and say, the reason why I'm so critical of this job is because I love this job. Everybody knows that that's bull. That's absolute bull. And that's why I brought up the whole, you know, this sort of comparison. You are not critical of the things that you love the most. You nurture the things that you love the most.
But, brother, these Democrats, they don't care if we lose the country or not, just as long as they're in power when we lose it, you know?
That's 100. Man, that is so right. That is so right. Exactly. They would rather be in control of its decline. They would love to steer this country into a mountain as long as they were in charge.
They do understand more history books will be written, right?
Yep, exactly. Exactly the point. Bob, thank you so much, man. I appreciate the call.
Have a good night, brother.
Thank you, man. You too. That's all I'm saying. I just don't believe it. I think these people are trying to perpetrate a fraud. We love our country, too. That's why we're so critical of it. You're trying to convince yourselves of that. Because I wouldn't talk about something that I love the way these people do. That's all I'm saying. Can you imagine that, saying to your wife, I love her very much, and then telling everybody else how horrible she is? Well, she does do this. My wife's quite the racist. And I would go, and you love her? Well, you know, she's a good woman. You just can't have it both ways. That's the only point I'm trying to make here. That's all. That's the only point I'm trying to make here. And people, look, I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you get it. So, anyway, we'll be back. More news, more views. I'm still looking for this audio, see if anything comes up. We also have to make sure that the translator is here as well. We'll be back with the stupidest thing I've read today. It's an audio version today. And, we got to talk about gas prices because a lot of people are upset about the gas prices today. And I want to push back on that just a little bit. Steve is on the line. Make sure you keep Steve there. Steve, hold on. I promise we'll get back to you in due course in the program so you can chime in on the topic of loving the country. I don't want to lose out on it. But if you want to also chime in, numbers 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Mark Christopher, he is, of course, out there getting you home. He has literally got his telescope, and he's looking at all the roads and checking out all the traffic and all the problem spots. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. How we doing, buddy?
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let's do it.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Minnesota has already got enough problems with the fraud that is happening with Somalians. But can you imagine this? With the issue with Somalians in Minnesota, with all the fraud in the billions of dollars, its legislature would actually be having this conversation, which was presented online by a state representative named Krista Knudsen, I believe is how you pronounce her name. Listen to what they wish to review in the state legislature.
So today in the Labor Committee,
Representative Dave Pinto requested a study for the benefits of shoplifting. There are no benefits to shoplifting for the people that are being shoplifted from. I have no idea what else to say. I'm shocked, actually. I don't even know what to say. Who?
She had to cover her face. She put her hands on her face, like hands on her head. It was like who would do this? Yeah. Again, a state that's dealing with fraud in the billions of dollars. There's a guy who wants to hold a conversation about the benefits of shoplifting.
I don't know what to say. Who benefits from shoplifting? The criminals. Once again, the criminals benefit from.
I know you're probably saying to yourself, "Where do you find this stuff?" This is not me. This is presented to me. This is the world that is given to me. I accept.
Please take a look at the comments to see for yourself.
Now, this is the actual individual she's talking about. He says that he was introduced to this by people who came in to explain to him that there are benefits to shoplifting. Listen to him explain.
It is an intriguing line of questions. Several of us are on the Public Safety Committee, and yesterday there was a presentation of a group seeking to change how we address organized retail theft. And it actually had not occurred to me to ask, it probably would have been good, to make sure that they would study sort of the benefit of shoplifting and of retail theft, and because perhaps people are relying on that and sort of using that. Maybe it's, assisting them in some way. These folks were describing people violating the law, but I suppose it could be useful.
I'm not kidding. These people are real. They are real. They are rationalizing a group of people who came in and said, you have to understand the benefit of shoplifting. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is, Mark.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this. It's Reese on the radio. Let's just say some people are not fans. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I heard a lot of talk about the gas prices, and I get it. But I have to address something. Okay, and I will in a second. Steve is in Meriden. I told him I would get to him, so let me deal with Steve real quick, get his opportunity. Hello, Steve. How are you?
Steve from Meriden, formerly Silver City, now the $3 million billion job to nowhere. This is for you and Roseanne.
Yes, sir.
Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, 1955.
You can't
get that for you and Roseanne, baby.
Thank you so much. I used to work with Frankie Lyman's record executive was, what was his name? Levin, first name.
Yeah.
I used to work for his son, who owned Warlock Records. And yeah, I've got a strong history with that family. But yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Are you saying that we're fools or that we're just in love? Is that?
No, you're just in love, but you're kind of foolish when you get in love,
That is no lie, my friend, no lie.
I was going to play the other song because we talked, but you talked about Love is Strange, Mickey and Sylvia.
I love that song.
I got that in my nicotine-stained hands right here, but I won't play it till the next time I come on, okay?
You got it, Steve. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You got it.
I appreciate it, too.
My pleasure. Okay, gas prices. Let me get to that. I went to go look this up, and it was only a brief search. And I get that there's a lot of this response to dealing with Donald Trump on this front, right? He said he was going to lower gas prices. He does. No one wanted to talk about it. It's true. When the numbers were going down, Donald Trump did all the boasting about gas prices going down. People everywhere was reluctant. CNN, MSNBC, even Fox News. I mean, they talked about it on all the evening shows, but it was just not really raved about. And not a lot of people online, other than people who supported Donald Trump, were cheering him on. Hey, look at the gas prices. But now the prices have gone up because of the war, as they're calling it, with Iran. And now, all of a sudden, it's brought back up. I get it. The eggs price thing was the same deal. But again, my argument here is that none of this meant a thing. It was explained away under the Biden administration. When the gas prices were going up to $5, people were explaining it away. Oh, it's Ukraine. It's Russia. It's Putin's fault. No one took any ownership. But Trump, right in his face. And what did he do? He responded, listen, yep, the price is going up. It is a necessary evil right now. He came flat out. No one's giving him credit for that, by the way. That he came right out in front. Yep, he addressed it right to you. You're right. Yes, but it's necessary. It's going to go up for a little bit. It's fine. He just released a statement earlier. Just said, look, I'm taking over the Horn of Hormuz, and we're going to get all of the fuel flowing free. We're going to get rid of any one of the ships that are stopping the flow of oil. We'll get this thing back. And sure enough, it's been happening. As the days have progressed, we're 2 weeks in. As the days have progressed, we're sure enough seeing that. I just watched a satellite video, like a sort of a sped up video at the Horn. Sure enough, traffic going through. The United States gets a hold of it. Boom. Nothing. Conversation dead. So I really don't. I can't. I just can't. If you weren't this harsh when we found out that Joe Biden was taking our reserves and selling that oil to China, folks didn't even want to report on that. And if we did, it was propaganda. I'm not trying to hear it right now. Just not. I can't deal with people on the left and people sending me messages. What about this, Reese? What about that? I'm like, yeah. What about it? What about it? You don't have to convince me. I already know you didn't care. But I got to play this, folks. I do. And before I do, I want to tell everybody on the right, or let's just say right of center, do not get mad at what you're about to hear. I'm setting you up. Do not get mad about what you're about to hear. I need you to laugh with me because this is funny. When I tell you this is funny, you'll hear and you'll agree that it is hilarious. Now, before I play it, I want to set this up. I'm going to use myself sort of as the guinea pig here. I wish I had haters like the hater I am about to play. I've only got mild haters. And when I say mild haters, those haters debate me. They like me enough to debate me. I don't have these kind of haters. And I wish I do. Why? Because these kind of haters put batteries on my back. Like they supercharge me. Like they are the fuel that gets me going. And I'm a little jealous of this hate. I am. I heard it, and there was a part of me, maybe it's because of the way I was brought up, but there was a part of me that just says, where can I get this hate? It's like a drug. I was tapping my arm. Oh, boy, I could use some of that. It's like hate heroin. I want a little bit of it. Just a little bit. I want all of it, but if I could get a little bit of it. This gives you exactly what we're dealing with here. If you haven't seen it yet, go look it up so you can see it for yourself. Language warning, even though I beeped it out. Language warning. This is true hatred. And I haven't heard anybody on the left respond to it yet, although they should. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ragin' Cajun, James Carville.
Look, you fat Trump, if you listen to this, you listen good, because what I'm getting ready to say is what a lot of people in this country speak for, who I speak for. And I speak for a lot of people. You hear me, you fat ass? This is what we believe. You're right. I got Trump derangement syndrome. I hate the motherfucker. And you know what? I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to get better. I want to get worse. I want to hate him more. I pray to God in heaven, God reign the righteous reign of Trump derangement syndrome. Pray for me, Lord. I'm your vessel on this earth. Pray for the people that listen to this. We want more. We want to hate the son of a so much that we can't see straight.
I want that hate. I need that hate. I've never wanted anything more. That's what I'm talking about. You ever heard anybody have that kind of derangement, Roland? You ever heard anybody with that kind of hatred? That's the sick hate. That's drug-addled hate. I hate the son of a gun. I want to hate him more. That's what I'm talking about. That's, again, this, folks, understand that when you hear this, the screaming and the yelling and the protesters, the vile things that they say. Did you see the latest Rob Vidaro video? Have you seen it? By the way, I got to give him a holler. Have you seen it? He was in South Carolina for a bunch of anti-Trump protesters. These people are supposed to be on the left who hate Trump. They were calling Rob Vidaro. Guess who was on it? He was the guy who called Murphy a scumbag in D.C. There's a video of him. Go to his Facebook page. The man protesting Donald Trump called him the N-word. Rob Vidaro, a white man, called him the N-word, said he was one of Trump's N-words. And he said, I heard it and I went, damn. I mean, I was like, what? Not in the offended. That word doesn't offend me in no way it does, but I just couldn't believe that he saw Rob Vidaro as the N-word. The way he said it to him, I went, damn. Tell me how you really feel. That he hated Rob so much for supporting Trump that he sees them as the most vile word that you could use, and he's on the left, this man. That would make a good Karen Gore soundtrack. Carville was pretty much the video version of my Facebook feed, Rama says. I'm telling you, he's crazy. I have to play it again. Like I said, I hope I reach the levels of this kind of hate. James Carville.
Look, you fat Trump, if you listen to this, you listen good, because what I'm getting ready to say is what a lot of people in this country speak for, who I speak for. And I speak for a lot of people. You hear me, you fat ass?
He speaks for a lot of y'all. I wonder if there's anybody on the left who goes, hey, he don't speak for me. I want no parts of this. Yeah, right.
This is what we believe. You're right. I got Trump derangement syndrome. I hate the motherfucker. And you know what? I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to get better.
I don't want to get better. Yeah. I want more of that. I want them. I need them. It's like the Emperor says in Star Wars. Said, reach, I need you to reach down. I need you to release your anger. You want this? Yes. Strike me down with all of your hatred. Yes! I need it. I know there's a part of me. I know there's just a part of me that just wants it. I know this is how a lot of these folks feel. I get it. Look, he is beating you. When you're getting beaten that much, and that's what's happening to James Carville. Everything he's predicting doesn't happen, right? He is on television. He is on podcasts. He is everywhere. He makes these ridiculous, predictions, right? Because he's supposed to be the guru. He's supposed to be the know-it-all, right? The Wizard of Smart, as Rush would call them. And every day, it's wrong. And his frustration grows, and he blames it on Trump, not himself. Not that he is ever going to come around and realize, okay, you know what? I'm not calling this. I can't. I've gotten this wrong every time. The guy he's unpredictable, and I end up looking like a fool every week. And what this does is frustrate him. And what does he do? Get angrier. I hate him. I got Trump derangement syndrome. It used to be a slight. When you said somebody had Trump derangement syndrome, they used to fight it. Now it's just like, I got it, and I want more of it. Because I hate the son of a gun. And a lot of us as him. Great. Absolutely. Express the anger. I want all of it. Every bit of it. Yes. Strike me down with all of your hatred. That's what the Emperor says. Good. As soon as Luke grabs the lightsaber, and do good. Now strike down your father and join me. I love it. I'm sorry, you got to be a Star Wars person to know this. I'm sorry, ladies, no offense, but I know some of you are not really into the Star Wars thing. If you've ever seen that scene, you know exactly what it is. If your husband is with you, or you know your husband likes Star Wars, tell him to find the scene where the Emperor, near the end of Return of the Jedi, is talking to Luke. Strike me down with all of your hatred. He's the one that claimed that MAGA was collapsing within 90 days. And back in the first, like a month of the presidency, right? Yes, Zach, 100%. Yeah, John Beckman says, what's more outstanding is a Republican is married to this clown. He is. He's very, very, he's off the wall bananas. He's bananas. But I love it. I love it. Because he exposes exactly what this is. And if that guy, now that's the thing. This guy's a kingmaker. This guy's no joke. This guy's a kingmaker. He is well respected, world renowned in politics. And this is what Trump has reduced him to. He broke these people. Donald Trump has broken these people.
Look, you fat Trump, if you listen to this, you listen good, because what I'm getting ready to say is what a lot of people in this country speak for, who I speak for. And I speak for a lot of people. You hear me, you fat ass? This is what we believe. You're right. I got Trump derangement syndrome. I hate the motherfucker. And you know what? I don't want to get rid of it. I don't want to get better. I want to get worse.
I don't want to get better. I want to get worse. I don't know why that hypes me up. I have no idea. I don't know why. I'm not done. I have to seek help. I should get therapy. I watched that like 9 times today. I did. I kept rewinding it. I was getting more and more hype as he did it. I was like, yes, they're angry. I do. I'm sorry, folks, this is what winning looks like. And if I can use this example just in 30 seconds, let me lay it down to you like this. Do you remember that little boy that was crying because he was an Eagle fan and Tom Brady was beating his team and the kid starts crying? It's like, Tom Brady's just so good. He's just so, the little boy is just frustrated. That's James Carville. That's all. What you are witnessing are beaten people. You are beaten. That's what Darth Vader tells Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back. You are beaten. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher, he's at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Let me see if I can play this.
Good. I can feel your anger. Strike me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.
I play that all the time. I just love it. I'm sorry. I just had to play it. You guys know that the Star Wars, the original trilogy, is my favorite, so I always go back to that. Anyway, let's do it. News. Music news today. We've got a doozy for you. Happy birthday to R&B legend Jeffrey Osborne. You remember him, On the Wings of Love. Also, Martin Fry, who is the English singer and frontman to the new wave band ABC. That's the look. The look of love. Rappers also born today were Chingy. He's the one who had that song, Right There. Girls love that song. Little Bow Wow also was born in 1987. As far as album anniversaries, The Joshua Tree, which was the first introduction to U2 that I had, loved that album, was 39 years ago in 1987 when that album came out. Love It to Death by Alice Cooper celebrates its 55th anniversary. This one is a doozy because I remember it like it was yesterday, folks. Can you believe it is the 29th anniversary of the untimely passing of Notorious B.I.G.? He died today, 29 years ago. And the Supremes, their debut single, is 65 years old. It was called I Want a Guy. It was the first single before they became superstars. So that's your music news.
It's Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back, and as promised, it took a bit. We finally have the audio of Benjamin Crumb, who obviously has a speech therapist. Sorry. I'm sorry. I have no idea why. That was unnecessary, Reese. That was absolutely unnecessary. You know what? I disavow any such association from the person who's made that comment. This is what he said.
I mean, this was so unjustified. This was not self-defense. I mean, he pulled up less than 30 seconds. I mean, it was like, and he decided 9 bullets.
So the Hartford Police Union has released a statement. I'd like to read it to you. It reads as the following. Following today's press conference on the officer-involved shooting of Stephen Jones, the Hartford Police Union extends our deepest sympathies to his family, friends, and loved ones. We reject inflammatory labels such as outlaws and cowboys and other false characterizations of our officers. We will not allow disingenuous outside voices to use selective rhetoric to sow division in our community, especially when unity, understanding, and evidence-based dialogue are needed most. Such approaches only perpetuate falsehoods, deepen mistrust, and hinder progress for all in Hartford. The Hartford Police Union stands ready to work constructively with city leadership, community stakeholders, and mental health advocates on reforms to reduce these tragedies and improve safety. This from Hartford Police Union President James Rotowski. And James is 100% right here. The tone is 100% right here. Now, I know Benjamin Crumb came out here and says, oh, we're not certain if it's going to be a lawsuit, but the objective is to come out here. As I told you, it wasn't going to be any lawsuit first. It was to rabble-rouse and then extort. That's what this is about. Now, what's going to happen, and I'll be honest with you, this is going to take a firm hand by policymakers here in Connecticut, if not just Hartford, that if they are going to allow themselves to be extorted for the sake of, I don't know, protest or negative news media coverage, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm going to say as strongly as I possibly can, I will not stand for it. I will not. I will push back on anyone who bends a knee to such extortion. I will absolutely protest anyone who allows Benjamin Crumb to come into this state, into this city, and expect to extort the taxpayers for what took place. I will not allow him to come into this city and browbeat police officers and to sow division from a bunch of people who are already rabble-rousers here. He better cut a big check for protesters. Because I'm sorry, Ben, it ain't going to work with 9 to 12 people. It's not going to happen. We will ignore you. This state will ignore you. And we will push back. I'd suggest you just take your butt on home.
Potential spam.
That's what I would do. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was. I would just go on home. There ain't no money for you here. I know you're trying to get a cut. I know you're probably weighing your options. Probably asking yourself and your staff, so how much money you think they got? How much money you think we're going to get? Because that's what this is about. I'm sorry, Jones family, but Stevie's dead. What else they going to get? You brought Ben Crump out of here, and you're going to learn. And listen, you're going to learn like every lawyer I've ever talked to, I've ever interviewed. They all have said the same thing. Nah, I'm not messing with him. We're talking about civil rights, African-American, and Hispanic attorneys who are trying to get justice for their clients. When I talk to them behind the scenes and I say, hey, what's your take on Benjamin Crumb? Nah, man, I ain't ever associating with that dude. Because they know exactly who he is. He's a grifter. He's a grifter. And he's definitely got the ear of the news media here in the state, as he does everywhere else. They love this stuff. Can't cover the corruption. Can't cover McCrory. Can't cover a governor who's teetering on Biden-like memory loss. Oh, we'll get into that tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm definitely coming with some receipts, just in case the people over at the governor's office are listening. You know I wouldn't come correct unless I came correct. We'll deal with that tomorrow. Don't come for me. Again, I will produce the receipts. By the way, all lawsuits have discovery. And just you better know that I wouldn't have said anything out loud if I didn't know where the bodies were buried. It's a well-researched program. Just so you know. Anyway, bottom line is that will not be stood for. Okay? And these groups, the NAACPs, local or state chapters, and the Black Lives Matter 860s and all that other stuff, weak sauce here. It's weak sauce. You know? Remember, folks, there were photographs with every one of you standing around with all of the lawmakers getting chummy, double dipping, pretending to be, poor righteous people, at the same time hobnobbing with the bigwigs. Getting your picture taken with them. Cheese! Cheese! I'm here with the governor. Cheese! I'm here with the attorney general. Cheese! A lot of you sellouts. Ben Crump is going to come up. I mean, it's a brick wall here, my friend. Those days of robbing the folks of the state, it's not happening anymore. It's just a wrap. I want to make sure everybody understands that. Okay? You guys are going to have to get regular jobs. Let me just lay it out for you. I guess that's the only way I can put it. You're all going to have to be gainfully employed. The grift is over. There's not going to be walking up trying to get a check from somebody because these people are soft. That's what they are, soft. with a capital T at the end. Soft. We don't want no trouble, Ben. We don't want no trouble. I'll write you out a check. How much you want? What's gonna make you walk away? Yeah, I can be mad. You can be mad. You know how this goes. Ask Freddie Gray's family. Huh? How much of that $7 million have they burned through already? Huh? Ask Michael Brown's family. Huh? What'd they do with that lottery win out in Ferguson, Missouri? States are doing that all over the place. George Floyd's family, didn't they get a cut? Huh? And they get a couple of dollars? That's how it's done. Right? The criminal gets killed, the family gets paid. That's how it works. Stevie out there with a knife, walking towards police officers, not listening to direct orders to put the knife down. Here's one thing, and I want to be honest with you about this. I mean, it's an honest question, just for anybody else there. Stevie was mentally ill, okay? All right, I'll make that argument. I'll give you that argument. He was mentally ill. How mentally ill, though? Has anybody bothered to ask? How mentally ill was he? Why am I asking? Let's go deeper. Was he so mentally ill that he didn't understand that the knife was a weapon? I want to know. Was he so mentally ill that what he had in his hand he thought was a lollipop? Was he that mentally ill? Was he so mentally ill as he was walking up to the police officers, did they think that he was his friend? Did he think that the officer who shot him, he kept going towards him because he was his buddy from high school? He recognized him? Or he thought he did? Was Stevie so mentally ill that he didn't understand the danger of a police officer holding a gun to him? Has anybody bothered to ask that? Shouldn't we? Because not one person has brought it up. Not one person has said, Stevie doesn't know what a gun is. When Stevie was hit with the taser and he felt the electricity flow through him, did he not understand that when he pulled them off? What was the level of understanding of Stevie? Does Stevie think that, guns are like play? Did he think he was in the middle of a scene in a movie, one of his favorite films or something? What was the level? We should be asking that question. I didn't hear anybody talk about that. Do you hear anybody talk about that? I didn't hear anybody in the news even ask. Because for me, that would make some sense, right? The police officer is holding a gun saying, put down the knife. I didn't even ask this. Does Stevie speak English? Did he not understand the words coming out of the officer's mouth? Or even the people who knew him? Why didn't they speak a language that Stevie could understand? Did no one in the crowd speak Klingon? No, right? So you can talk about it at length about the police officer who shot him, but this is a basic question to ask. Did anybody in the crowd bother? Hey, Stevie kept coming towards the officers as they shouted, put the knife down. Does he not speak English? Did Stevie believe that the knife was a lollipop? Does Stevie not know what a gun does? How mentally impaired was he? And again, folks, I'm shooting from the hip here. No pun intended. But why aren't these logical questions? Why did Stevie pick up the knife? Did Stevie understand that the knife is dangerous? See, this is what I believe. This is the hard truth. I think that everybody knows exactly the answer to all of those questions. That's why they're not asking them. I think that Stevie knew the knife was dangerous. I think Stevie knew that a gun would actually kill him. I think that Stevie understood the instructions. And I believe that Stevie wanted the police officer to shoot him. That's my belief. Because there should be a conversation. Everybody else had that conversation in the beginning. People said the day he was shot, what did they say? They believed it was suicide by cop. They thought that Stevie, although mentally ill, had the wherewithal to want his own life to be taken. That was all the talk when he was shot, wasn't it? You heard it. I heard it. We all heard it. My newsroom said it. Right? Yes. So, let's have the conversation. Ben, if you're going to be here for a little while, I'm sure you probably went back to New York, but I want to know these things. When you guys out there, and obviously the family was there doing interviews with the press, when you guys go out there, hey, if you can't do it, give me the number. One of you people out there, give me the number to the family. I'd like to ask these questions. Talk to me a little bit about Stevie. That's all I want to know. But no one's going to protect these people who are trying to. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. There's a part of me that wants them to sue. There's another part that says the district attorney in this state would only fold. They would settle. They would call it a PR nightmare and all this other stuff, and they would just say, just cut them a check. I'm not standing for that. I'm pushing back on that with all my might. Don't do it. Whatever you do, don't do it. Don't fold to these people. It's a con job if ever there was one. And at least if you are, I would go this far. If you are going to cave, mayor, district attorney, whoever it is, whoever's faced with this case, whomever it is, at least get those answers. I want to know what Stevie understood and what he did not. I want to know the level of his mental acuity. That's what I want to know. And then we can talk settlement or paying folks or whatever the nonsense is, but I doubt anybody's going to give me that. I really do believe that. So that's all I can say about that. Anyway, when we come back, we'll wrap this up. Did I have anything else to add? I don't think I had another story to add, but anyway, we'll talk a little bit. Oh yeah, Mark Twain. Got to talk about that. My visit to the Mark Twain house when we return. So stand by for that. Mark Christopher, he's getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app. Search WTIC News Talk 1080 and tap earlier today to get started.
I was going to bring the Hartford Police Union president. He wanted to come on, but I'm technically not really prepared for an interview with him, considering that I wait so long for this audio come in. But he's got to leave town, so he's going to be back soon. When he comes back, we'll have him here on the air. James Rutowski, the Hartford Police Union president. Plus, I want to see how this goes in the next couple of days, whether or not there's any movement on this. I'm sure people will think that there's some momentum here, but I'm gonna Dave Mager, who was out at this protest or at this press conference, I'm gonna get a feel from him what that looked like. Plus, I'll look at some news clips of that just to see where this is, and I can pretty much read the temperature of these things to see how they're going. So we'll have James on when he gets back. Okay, it looks like he'll be back at the end of the week. Okay, good. Yeah. Yep, we'll bring him on next week. That'll give us a good time to see the momentum here. Always remember, you can go to WTIC.com, download the Odyssey app, or go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. By the way, Reese on the Radio, it is new, it is improved, and you can go there and leave a comment. We've got, and I don't want to refer to it as a contest in the sense of there will be an opportunity for you to apply to make it to our 11th Commandment Republican gubernatorial debate, which is happening at the end of April. We will let you know in due course how you can become a part. We've got a lot of seating for a lot of people. So if you want to be a part of that, you can. We'll get you an email that you will apply and sort of make a reservation. So to be you applying, we confirm your reservation, And then you have what we'd like to do is to try to keep it like a week before the event, that if you happen to change plans, something happens and you need to change, we want to give you an opportunity to sort of give back your seats so that someone else who wants to go gets a chance to go. When I say there are a lot of seats at this event, there will be a lot of seats. So, a lot of you will get an opportunity to be there and watch it live. It will be hosted by myself, Morgan Cunningham, and Brian Shackman. We're going to host it. And so far we have confirmed Betsy McCoy and Ryan Fazio. And we have a maybe from Aaron Stewart's camp. And I'm saying maybe because we haven't officially asked them yet. We're going to send them a letter to invite them to the event, to which they will sign off on all the rules. And then once we get that, they will be confirmed to be there, and you will get an opportunity to take a part in that and be there for that debate so you can listen to these folks make their plea to be your next governor. Tomorrow, also on the show, I'll spill the beans on what I know about the governor's race and the state that we're in. So we'll get to that when we return. Mark Christopher, he's in a BPS Lawyers Traffic Center getting you home. What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, we are almost out of here. Bruce, I just sent you Roland's email so you can contact him that way. John Beckman says that, James Carville should get divorced and marry Rosie. That would be a marriage spent in the insane asylum. That's horrible. Bruce also says Crumb doesn't want to go to court. He'd rather build it up in the media than settle behind closed doors, without a doubt that he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. What do you do? Just what do you do? And like I said, I'm going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that doesn't happen here. If you like, if you can, if I can, would like a ticket for the Mentalist. Okay. Would you? Oh, actually, Roland, he wants to know if you are interested in going to see the Mentalist on Saturday. Would you? Okay. All right. No problem. Because we're going to go check that out. I'm very, very intrigued by that. And I know one of the things speaking on the Mark Twain thing, can I tell you what I think is going on with the Mentalist? So the Mentalist, what he does is he reads your reaction to things. And Mallory told me something there. She's the assistant curator at Mark Twain. She says that one of the things that the Mentalist will do, and you've probably seen this trick, is that he takes these paper bags and he puts them on the table, and you have to take a long spike and put it underneath one of the bags, or none of them. And what he does once he turns around is he will slam his hand on the bag, on the right bags that don't have the steel spike that will go through his hand. Now, I thought about a bunch of things that he does. He's got a ringer in the crowd who he's watching, who's telling him, it's left, right, or center. Okay? But I was thinking this, and I'm going to interview him off the air, but I'm going to ask him, what I really believe that the Mentalist is doing is trusting the good nature of people. That people have a visceral reaction to danger. Because I think unless you are a psychopath, when you come up on stage to put a tall spike underneath there and there is danger in that, where the guy is putting his hand over that thing and he is about to drive through it, where it may very well go through his hand, I think that we are naturally good people, and he can see it in our faces, that we have a tell, that when we see somebody who's going to be hurt, we sort of do a twitch with our eyes or something that he can capture. That's what I believe that's what a mentalist can do. He can look at you and tell, their face says, if I choose this one, they're scared. They're worried about my well-being. And he has to rely on that. And I think that through it all, I think that that's what he is understanding, that we all are good-natured people. Unless, of course, he puts a sociopath on there who wants to see him literally bury his hand on that bag. It's going to go right through him. I'm just saying. That's what I believe. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. But I think that's the case. Let me go to the phones real quick before we get out of here. Jim is in Wellington. Hello, Jim.
Yes, sir. I got to tell you, every time a cop gets involved in one of these situations, and I don't care if it was a bad cop who did the absolute wrong thing,
right?
Or it's a cop that didn't do the wrong thing. That some huckster's got to come in and make sure that you paint him with a brush that everything that cop did was wrong.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm thinking Michael Brown in that situation.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Okay, or the situation with these Hartford police. At the end of the day, all three of those cops and any other cop that's in a situation that's going to get somebody to come into town or somebody has to question the police, that cop's actions.
Yep.
They all have to be treated the same way in order for some huckster to come in and get something for the families. And I'll tell you, the hook here is that the issue here is it's the cop, no matter what,
right,
who's on the hook. Under any case or scenario. I don't see the police chief or the administrative end of the police department or even the police unions in some way, shape, or form, or the politicians who look at the policies that the police enforce. And we as having to pay any price other than the fact that they're looking to renegotiate or settle. They don't want anybody looking at their actions. The actions of the police chief in Minnesota concerning Mr. Floyd.
Yeah.
Against Chauvin. We could say Chauvin was a lousy cop, but did anybody ask the question about what Chauvin was doing with the methods he was using? Or were any other cops in that?
No. You know what, Jim? Jim, you bring a very, very good point in that case. Remember, we had a police chief that testified in the Derek Chauvin trial and lied and said that inside the instruction manual, there was no procedure that he followed that was lawful. It wasn't. And then you watch The Fall of Minneapolis. In that documentary, his mother was holding his instruction manual that shows the actual hold that Derek Chauvin was using. And they went on to say, we have a documented evidence that the police chief lied. Understand?
So let me ask you this about the Chauvin.
Yeah.
Why can't his family sue?
I couldn't agree more. Of course he should be allowed to sue. That's why, look, and how long has it been? Has it been 5 years yet? Because I know he's not supposed to be allowed to appeal. And I know that there are judges out there who are scared to death to see that case. But there are so many things that are wrong with that case. One, the fact that we have police chiefs and police officers who lied about it. But we also had a Black Lives Matter member who was a part of the jury.
But let me throw something else in there. Now, I don't care what you think about Chauvin. I don't care.
Right.
Why can't his family get the same benefit of the doubt as any other family that might have been on the other side of that? I understand that you can say whatever you want about the cop's actions. I get it.
Right.
But when you have the whole system that cop works for, whether it's Chauvin or the police officer concerning the one in Colorado, I just lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I know.
Why can't their families?
I think that, listen,
same benefit?
I think that Derek Chauvin, after this thing is appealed and overturned, which I really do believe that it will be, I think that that's exactly what should happen. I would leave no stone unturned.
And may I just throw one other thing in here?
Lastly, sure.
Taking too much time. The police officer in Hartford here, at what point is he supposed to decide that his life isn't as valuable as anybody else's life? At what point?
I know.
At what point? And the questions you said that have to be asked, okay, absolutely, they have to be asked. But you know what the other questions have to be?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to the police department, the administrative end. I want to talk to the union. I want to talk to everybody else that's involved peripherally
Yeah.
Before you start telling me that you're going to go through that cop's whole background, which is what's probably going on now,
Right.
with a fine-tooth comb, so that some guy can come into this town, rally up something for the benefit of getting a settlement of some sort,
Yep.
and basing it only on the cop's actions. How far is that cop supposed to back up? Was the cop able to use another weapon of some type? That
They
wasn't
did.
done?
They tased him. Exactly right.
I understand about the taser part, but my point is, what's the policy?
Exactly.
The cop
You almost
breaks
feel
policy
like
by backing up.
Jim, let me wrap it up this way because I think you're 100% right. The way that they're looking at it is that the police officer was just supposed to stand there and say, put it down until Stevie got tired and fell asleep on the street.
Yes.
That's exactly, you know.
Which is ludicrous.
Yeah,
Ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous.
Exactly. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate you, man. Let's go to Bill in Rocky Hill. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Reese, how you doing? About 10 years ago, there was a girl that accused 3 white guys, I think it was a stag party,
yes,
of raping her. And Al Sharpton comes running into town before any charges were official or anything and did a big, trying to start a riot thing.
Is that, wait a minute, we're not talking about, are we talking about Tawana Brawley or are we talking about the North Carolina Duke case?
No, we're talking about Connecticut.
Oh, in Connecticut. Okay, I must have missed that story.
And he came here and went away real quick. And he tried to start, the same thing, the riot act.
Yep.
And none of her story added up, and she retracted it.
Wow.
He never apologized. He never did anything. You could look it up. Happened right here in Connecticut.
I will definitely look it up. And again, this another classic case of these folks. They'll jump out a window if they think there's a check. That's what it's about. It's never
Money.
about the justice. It's always about the money.
Money in the bank.
Without a doubt. Thank you,
All right,
Bill.
buddy.
I will look that up. Thanks, buddy. Let's go to my good friend, Stevie V. What's up, baby?
I'm going to do a quick little mental list thing with you and Roland. I want you guys to think of a number between 1 to 4.
Okay.
And just think about it.
I got it.
I'm guessing it's 3. 3.
I hate you. How did you know? So you're a mentalist too?
It's if you think about it, the brain picks up. I said pick a number between 1 to 4. I left 3 out.
Oh, good. Oh, I like that. I heard 1 to 4. Oh, I see. 1, 2, 4. Then brain naturally picks at 3. Really? Is that simple? Is it really that?
Majority of the time, that's a lot of tricks they'll use. Same thing like a cop would use something like, we're questioning about 4 robberies, and a lot of times the people will say 4. I only did 3. They kind of.
Oh, that's interesting, Stevie. When are we going to get together for dinner, man? Because we haven't broken bread yet. I've literally hung out with almost every one of the scallywags except you.
Well, we'll make it happen. I got a quick question for you.
What do you got?
I used to have this trouble a lot of times with the women that I was dating. It's like they want you to come up with something, then when you do, it's like, well, that's not what they wanted to do. You didn't come up with what they actually wanted. But what did you guys do this weekend? I know Roseanne was counting on you to come up with something. And how did it go?
Oh, we ended up going to Michael. Thank you for reminding me because I did mean to bring that up. So we ended up going to that place, Michelangelo, that Teddy called up and mentioned. We got there. It is it's a little small place. I mean, it's got a nice, I'll put it to you this way. This looks like the most common place you would think. The food, however, was amazing. I had a Reuben, a corned beef Reuben. Roseanne had pasta and chicken. And believe it or not, Stevie V, yours truly sang karaoke on Friday.
Really?
I did. Teddy promised that he would sing 2 songs by Frank Sinatra that we chose. And then Roseanne said, I've never heard you sing. And I got up and I sang That's Life by Frank Sinatra as one of my go-tos. And I sang that. And I'm not going to lie, I got not only a huge applause, but I got a lot of people who were patting me on the back saying, hey, it was pretty good.
Awesome. Now, before I was joking about you being Chinese and Jewish, you said you had a Reuben, right?
Yes. That's right. I did.
You got to have some ancestors.
There you go.
All right, brother.
Hi, man. Talk to you soon. Yeah, I had a Reuben. I like Reuben. I don't know why. It's actually this weekend, I think I had like 2 or 3 Reubens, if not for lunch, for dinner. I really do I like that sandwich. A corned beef one at that. They were just really, really good. Every one of them I tried were excellent. By the way, I also want to mention, because we went to the Mark Twain house, which, again, I enjoyed so much. And Mark Twain is, wow, riveting individual, and he's just like me. He is a hater. Oh, boy. How he felt about Jane Austen was my favorite of the whole tour. He said, Mark Twain said after he read Pride and Prejudice, he wanted to dig up Jane Austen's body and beat her with her shin bone. Goodness gracious. I thought that was, I was like, damn, Mark Twain. I think I could get on board with this guy. No, I don't believe. I'm just saying he could be quite cruel. So I'm actually very, very interested. It was a great tour. Mallory, thank you so much. Bruce, thank you as well, and thank you for the T-shirt and the book. I'll wear the T-shirt tomorrow. And yes, I did sing karaoke, and yes, I did sound good. I don't tell people. I play around singing here on the show, but give me an opportunity. I actually do a pretty good job. I got paid $1. Teddy paid me $1 for my singing. He didn't think I would do it, so I want to give him props for that. Tomorrow's show, we'll talk about the governor's race. We'll talk about Ned Lamont. This is no longer a rumor, folks. This has gone from rumor to now people talking out loud about it. It is a question that people have been asking about Ned Lamont, his age, and so forth. I experienced it. A couple of people are now coming forward saying that they experienced it as well. So we'll talk about that tomorrow, plus, of course, a whole bunch of other news. Make sure you always go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. If you've got a show idea, go right there to the bottom, and you can send it to me. Also, check out the Substack. Become a subscriber. The Substack is every Sunday morning at 7:30. If you are on X, friend us on X. You will get it at midnight on Sunday. And then Facebook follows, and all other social media follows thereafter. Okay? So you can check it out. Let me see. I don't think there's anything else I need to. Oh, again, and thank you, everybody, so much for all of the wonderful things you said about Roseanne and I getting baptized over the weekend. It was an absolute huge experience. I choked up a lot. It was overwhelming, still is. I can't believe that I'm at this place, and I don't think I would be here without any of you. It's the reason why we're here in Connecticut, and I hope that this is a long-lasting relationship. It was amazing to do that. So, as I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember, then panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on Radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. We will see you back here at 2 p.m. mañana. Mark Christopher, he is getting you the rest of the way home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.